second one is contempt, which is similar to criticism, but it's more deadly. It's actually the worst of the four horsemen and the number one predictor of divorce, the end of a relationship. And the reason why that is because when you have contempt in your relationship, you're communicating from a place of anger and disgust with the person. It's really like you're coming from a place of superiority.
Right.
Like you're talking down on them. And there's many different types of contempt. One is sarcasm, name calling, mimicking, body language, eye rolling, sneering.
Yeah.
These are the most prevalent forms of contempt. And I feel like I won't say we, but me, I feel like I struggled a lot with contempt.
I feel like both of us did.
Yeah, as I was reading this book, it just really opened up my eyes a lot to some of the things that I was doing wrong. And when I say that, I was exhibiting contempt a lot, is because one of the things that I often did was if I had a problem with something, I wouldn't say anything about it. Right? And it would just keep building up. Like issues would just keep building it up because I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't getting stuff off my chest, out of my heart. So when an issue arose, it was like I'm already filled to the top.
Right.
And it's like when I start explaining myself to Asha, I'm just saying everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like if one issue happened one day, I'll start bringing up stuff that was similar to that issue from weeks ago, from months ago. And I should be like, why didn't you say this when it happened? Like, why is it just like you're coming at me about all these different things when this was our only issue today? Right. So it felt like I was attacking her instead of attacking the issue. And that's why I say it's similar to criticism, because then I would start saying stuff like, oh, you always do this, you never do that. When that's basically coming at that person. Yeah. That's a trait of the person instead of, addressing the issue at hand, which we've been able to work through, but it was tough. And I think that it was very important for us to learn about that early on, because like I said, it's one of the most predictable horsemen for divorce in the end of a relationship.
Yeah. I feel like from my perspective, it's more so like the look of disgust, or just irritation. Like I'll notice like when we be having like a heated argument or whatever, going back and forth, and you'll be like saying something about my facial expressions. Yeah. Or like if I'm staring,
she got them facial expressions, bro. Like she
stare.
Just be looking in the mirror practicing her facial expressions.
Or like just like how your body language, like your demeanor, like just like the huffing and like, are you done yet? Like certain things that you say, like sarcasm, just like to just be combative when you're in a confrontation or whatever. So I had to like really start to acknowledge that. And I know a couple times you're like, do I need to put like a mirror in front of your face? Because I would swear that I'm not doing it. But it's like
she be rolling her eyes look like the Undertaker. I'm like, come on, how you not like knowing you doing this?
Natural, like when you're like just mad and you're like fuming and you're trying to prove your point, just like everything built up, you don't even pay attention to how you're delivering the message. But I feel like it definitely does, because like that person is taking all of that in, and it's just like, okay, well, you're looking at me like this, you're coming at me like this, and things are processing in a negative aspect instead of y'all trying to resolve something just because of something as little as your facial expression or something that you say. So I think that's definitely something that I had to acknowledge and start to work on as well.
When I was exhibiting contempt in our relationship, how did it make you feel? Like when somebody comes at you for not the issue that you're dealing with that day, but just for everything, how does it make you feel as a person?
To be honest, especially when it's your partner, it makes you feel like not adequate almost. It's like I'm trying to live
up to what that person
I'm trying
wants.
to live up and measure up to something that's like, I don't even know. I don't even think because it's just like you said, like you're sitting up here piling on a whole bunch of things that doesn't even have to do with, the issue at hand. Like, and it could be something so simple like, oh, and this is just me giving examples again, but like, say if your partner is like, oh, they want the trash taken out or something like that, right? And it's just like, oh, you always forget to take out the trash. Trash day comes, and now we're sitting here with a pile of trash, right? But now today, you forgot to, take the pet to the vet or whatever the case may be. So now on top of what you didn't do and what is so much of a problem for this person, and you're constantly bringing up, now you're going to throw on the trash issue, even though it ain't trash day, because you didn't take the pet. You know what I mean? So it's just like everything starts to snowball and cave in on you, and you're just like, dang, well, am I that horrible of a person?
Yeah.
Because you coming at me from all types of ways.
And you maybe thought it was all good because I never brought it up
right,
to you.
because
So it's like you think
it.
nothing's wrong. So then when it all hits the fan, it's like, whoa,
yeah,
where's this coming from?
Exactly. So that's why I think it, like you said, it is really important to attack the situation at hand versus you just trying to attack, or not even attack, but just addressing the situation at hand, like one thing at a time as you experience it, versus putting everything together, because then that causes way more of an issue than it has to be.
Yeah. And if you are experiencing contempt in your relationship, we got good news. Although it is the number one predictor of the end of a relationship, the end of divorce, there are solutions to help fixing it. And we're a prime example that there are ways to help fix contempt in your relationship. And one of the solutions to fixing contempt in your relationship is building a culture of appreciation and respect in your relationship. Excuse me. And the way that you're able to build that type of culture is to look for ways to express your appreciation and your gratitude towards your partner. Like, just find ways throughout the day to really just uplift your partner. And if they do something for you, thank them for it. Because sometimes when you're in a relationship, you take a lot of things for granted when you've been in a relationship for a long time. And we actually had a chance to interview John and Julie Gottman, which we're going to release to y'all on our Patreon, which is a very insightful interview that we had with them. But she talked about the importance of being able to show that appreciation, gratitude, and respect in your relationship. They've been together, I believe, for over 40 years. And she said that every day, her husband, John, makes them coffee every morning. And every morning for 40 years, she made sure that she said thank you every single morning that he made her a cup of coffee. Because like I said, as time goes on, you start to take those small things for granted. And another way that you're able to really build that culture is something that they call the magic ratio. And I spoke about this before on the podcast, which is the 5-to-1 ratio. For every negative interaction you have as a couple, you want to make sure that you have 5 positive interactions. And why this is so important is because each of those positive interactions is like making a deposit into your emotional bank account, right? The more you keep putting into the bank account, when you have that negative interaction with your partner, you're not going into the negative.
Right.
You're not overdrafting your account because you've poured so much positive affirmations into your relationship that having one negative interaction won't feel like, is this relationship worth it? Because I don't feel worthy in this relationship. So if you're experiencing contempt in your relationship, you got to make sure that you build that culture of appreciation, gratitude, and respect, because you have to focus on this one, because this one is the most deadliest horseman of them all. So it's very important to make sure you do everything you can to rid this out of your relationship.